Orleans, Michigan's Hearts to Homes team.
And today we are in Livonia, Michigan at Journey Pediatrics on Plymouth Road with Kathleen. She is the owner and teacher here. So tell us about what you do in your business.
Sure. Yep. So I'm a speech therapist. So basically, speech therapy can fall into two different categories. There's either articulation, which is where I help kids who can't pronounce their sounds or form their sounds correctly. Like a lot of kids, you would know, like when they say wabbit for rabbit, so that'd be the most common one. So I either help with that, or there's the language component, which are kids who are either having a hard time understanding language, help them follow directions or identify pictures, or they're not speaking at all. So I'm going to use computer systems or pictures or teach them how to use words to communicate.
Okay,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Love that. What got you started and wanting to do this kind of business?
Yep. So in high school, actually, I interned at Perrinville Preschool, which used to be in Livonia, and they had a language classroom where all the kids had different communication disorders. So that's how I learned about it. And then I went to school for it, and then I opened up this practice. I started it in 2020, right before COVID started. So there was a little bit of a delay, and then I opened up part-time for a while, and then last June I opened up full-time here. So now I've been here a little over a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What inspired you to get into this field?
Well, I initially learned about it because my younger brother has a learning had a learning impairment. He had a dyslexia, so that's kind of how I learned about how he used to go to speech therapy and all that kind of things. And then that's kind of how I found it. And then my big specialties that I found out through grad school and through internships is I really like working with kids who have autism, and I really like working with kids who use AAC systems or augmentative alternative communication systems, meaning like they use their iPads to talk or they use pictures to talk. So that's my two specialties here.
Wow.
The iPad technology is just amazing and how far that has come to help these kids communicate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen
that's great.
some of them use the iPad, and it's just really cool that they're able to still express how they're feeling and all of that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so I like helping them unlock, because a lot of them are kind of trapped. They know what they want to say, but they can't get it out for some reason. So I like getting those kids to be able to say things.
Wow.
That's so rewarding.
It is.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's
Really
awesome.
great.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know I've had a few kids that, you know, have had some of those language barriers. So what ages do you kind of start with these kids, or are there any, you know, tips you can share with parents on, like, you know, obviously we know like wabbit, that kind of stuff, but are there other signs that parents should be looking out for?
Yeah, so especially since COVID, like because we all were wearing masks for so many years and kids weren't able to be seen by other people other than their family, we're seeing a lot more kids coming in with those language delays. So what you want to look for is, like, you want to look up those milestones online. If your kid you know, isn't talking or isn't able to express themselves verbally, and they're getting to be 2, 3 and they're not saying any words yet, if they're not able to say any sounds, if they seem to be very frustrated, like they know what they want to say, but they're you know, you're seeing more tantrums than words, that's something to get it checked out for. Talk to your pediatrician. But if you have a feeling that, you know, something is going on and you want to get evaluation, then I'd recommend you want to do it earlier rather than later, because early intervention is going to be the best outcome for those kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know one thing that is always a concern for parents, because I had a child that had a condition, well, had to have surgery and all that stuff when he was born, but do you accept insurance? Is this covered under insurance?
Yeah, so right now we accept Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna commercial through the employer, so we accept those two. We have private pay options available if that's not one of your insurances, but those are the two, and most diagnoses are covered under those two insurances. Yeah,
That's great, because sometimes you just don't know, be like, oh, I don't want to do that because it's not covered, and then I'm going to rack up all these, you know, doctors and hospital bills. So that's great that you guys have that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And do you do some of those evaluations, or do you?
I do all of the evaluations.
So you
so I'll do the evaluation. The parent will come in. We'll talk about what's going on. If the kid is old enough, I can do some formal assessments on them. If they're not old enough, then we'll just do more parent interview style. And then from there, we'll talk about goals and the treatment plan we want to do, how many times a week, what the goals will be, and then kind of go from there.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't think a lot of parents know, I mean, or people in general know how important that early intervention is. You know, if you, slightest thing, it's just always better to check in just to be safe.
Because a lot of people do say wait and see, but I wouldn't recommend waiting and seeing. If you know, it's better to get the evaluation and be like, oh no, they're fine, you can wait, as opposed to finding out later that, you know, we missed all this time because they weren't being seen by anybody.
Yes, for sure. I've seen, I mean, some kids I'm close with, I've seen them grow leaps and bounds just from even being in speech. I mean, speech therapy is amazing. It's crazy to see how these kids can grow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
You must have the patience of a saint.
Yes.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not true. I mean, you see all the toys. I
Yes.
It's a lot of playing. So a lot of the, I try to disguise it as much as I can as play and not sitting and doing work. Especially those after school kids. They're not going to want to come after school and do more work. So I try to make it as fun as I can for them.
Love that.
While we're still working on what their goals are.
Yeah, I love seeing all the toys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was even looking at the little board. It just seems like you've helped so many families.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're so grateful for you. So that's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Really nice.
I think that's a really good job that you have. That's like rewarding. You
Yes.
get to see that.
Yes.
Sometimes we might not. We would do stuff, and we're like, once we give the keys, and they're like, "Yay, my home!" And then we don't. We're like, oh.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
can you send us updates?
Yeah,
right.
What's going on? Send us pictures. How are things going?
You actually get to see
Yeah,
it.
I've been seeing some kids for
Yeah, that's
on and off for a couple of
awesome.
years now. So
That's
to see
great.
where they were and where they are now is really awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, it seems like a very positive experience, but is that like the most positive experience is just watching a child's growth? And
I'd say so, yeah, and how how excited they are when they finally can talk, and how the parents are excited, and when they come and tell me things like, oh, they said even I love you for the first time,
oh
or
my gosh,
yeah, that's what I go when I said I love
is
you,
so
or that they're
sweet.
even just able to not be frustrated anymore. They're able to make friends. They're just all that,
oh my gosh,
all those types of things.
Awesome.
That is
Yeah.
That would make me
touching.
cry.
I know.
Yeah.
Seriously. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah, or even like to say mama or daddy
Mhm.
for the first time.
Yeah.
That would be like,
Yeah, well, and even hearing like making friends, because this world can be really hard on kids right
Mhm.
now, and I mean, and if you're the slightest bit different,
Yep.
these kids are like, so like to hear them making
And
friends.
that is another thing we do
so
is
good.
social skills. So those kids who are having a hard time socially, probably making friends, they can come here and we talk about how to make friends and what kind of things you need to do to be a good friend, and kind of those type of skills too is another thing we work on. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That is really great.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we've had the opportunity to come here and meet you,
Yeah.
and hopefully, bring some awareness to it and get some more kids help.
Yeah.
So what brought you into the Livonia area?
I grew up in Livonia.
Okay.
So my parents actually live about 10-15 minutes away from here. So I live out in Kiko Harbor now, but what brought me here is basically that I grew up in the area. There just seemed to be a need out here. There was a lot of practices around here, but they all have pretty long waiting lists at the time, so they needed another practice in here. So yeah, that's what brought me to Livonia.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite restaurants
Restaurants?
around here?
Do you have any favorite restaurants? When I go here, next door is really good.
Okay.
There's that Mexican place next door, so that's why I usually get lunch from here. So that's pretty good here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Never say no to Mexican food.
That's true, yeah.
Chips and salsa all day. Do you currently have a waiting list, or are you accepting?
I have a small waiting list right now. Now that a lot of kids are going back to school, that it's opening up, because some of those kids, they're not seeing many times a week. But I'm also in the process of hiring someone, so that will lighten up that list. So,
Nice.
so there's a small waiting list, but it's not nearly as long as some of the bigger major hospitals right now. So.
Well, if somebody wanted to, if parents wanted to contact you for services, are you open on weekends too, or just Monday through Friday?
I'm open Monday through Friday right
Okay.
now. I do makeups on weekends sometimes. If I'm off, that's another thing that's nice about compared to bigger places. If I'm off for a week on vacation, I'll do makeups on the weekends, or sometimes if parents can't do it, I'll do it on the weekends. But mostly it's Monday through Friday. And if they want to contact me, it would be on your website.
Yeah,
change
yeah,
my name
you
and
can go
everything.
straight to our website.
Okay,
Yep,
so
yep.
so they can call my number, they can email the number on there, they can text the number on there. Any of those would be a good way to contact me, and I'll get in contact with them and set up the next steps.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And if
Thank you for coming.
don't forget, if you are looking to buy or sell a home, call one of your Hearts to Homes realtors, and we will see you on the next episode.